Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kira, and today I am super jazzed because I have a guest here who's going to help us with cash flow leaks, modernizing your practice, figuring out those membership plans, all the things that you need and want. We're going to talk about some case studies. This is one of my absolute favorite guests, Mark Rasmussen, CEO, owner, founder, Moolah. How are you today, Mark? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Kara, I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing awesome. So stoked to connect with you and your listeners, and excited to get into all this juicy, good stuff
Yeah,
about revenue and payments and modernizing things. Let's do it. I love it.
let's do it. So I have a slight crush on Moolah. Like truly, you guys like just make credit card processing easy. And so what I want to start off, if you guys don't listen, Mark and I have done other podcasts in the past together. But I don't know, Mark, what you guys say on your email subject lines, like on your little what is it, your signature? But I feel like it should be like your new favorite credit card processing company. Like that's what I feel like Moolah's tagline should be because I wanted to do a couple case studies with you since we last chatted. Mark knows like I do have a crush on Moolah. I tried to get them to come and be our processor
I
too.
need to like soundbite clip that. Like I have a crush on Moolah, just like everywhere in social. I
I
love that.
do. I do because I like companies that make things easy, but also are like the cheapest on the market. And credit card fees are one of my biggest beefs. Like, really, truly, I get annoyed when I look to see how much credit card fees are charging. And when you guys, Dental Team listeners, just so you know, I'm going to throw it out there like anybody who goes through our link literally saves 10 basis points. On it, which is huge to get anywhere in the credit card industry. So you're getting below that 2.99. So you're getting 2.89 on cards not present and 2.39. And I hope, Mark, I'm allowed to say that because I'm just going to be bold and brazen. And if not, we'll cut that out. So don't
Yeah,
stress
no,
about
for
that.
sure. And not only that, it's like that's not just a like teaser rate. Like your practices will get that preferred rate forever, right? Which is awesome.
Which is so big.
And
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 you
it's like
don't
you and
add
I were
extra
talking a
fees.
little bit earlier too of like a bit of shock and awe of like I and myself as well. I've been seeing like some statements from potential practices, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm seeing like 6, 7, 8% like net effective rates. I know you were saying you've been seeing even higher.
Mhm.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. It's almost
So
criminal.
it does feel criminal because like here's the thing, like you might get a cheaper rate somewhere else, but when you look and dig into the details, and this is where it feels annoying and obnoxious to me, and it doesn't happen right away. It happens like when you've stopped looking at it. You're like, I've checked my credit card company for years, they don't do anything, and then all of a sudden it starts creeping up and being eerie. And that's where I just get annoyed. And that's why like I have a crush on Moolah because you guys don't do it and you guys stay consistent for it. So I felt Mark and I, if you didn't listen to our last podcast, we'll definitely link it in the show notes for you. But Mark, I felt we should kick today off with some case studies because I have some clients that I've recommended over to Moolah. And I think my favorite one is we were looking and I had a practice and our overhead was high. So like this practice, they don't love to like look at numbers. They have an amazing CPA. Like I will say we do look at numbers, but they're kind of like, yeah, Kira, we'll just like outproduce our problems a little bit. And
Right.
that's fine. Like anybody can have that. But I said, hey, your credit card fees are really high. I think that they were honestly like 10%. And I'm like, is that really true? Like that
Wow.
just seems outlandish. And they said, well, Kira, we're in a contract. Mark, you want to throw up with contracts? Tell me about
Oh,
credit card
I hate
contracts.
contracts. I hate contracts like really in anything in my life. Like, I don't know. So yeah, but it's just crazy. The industry for the longest time has like felt the need to like lock these business owners, and not just dentists, but business owners in like these, typically it's like 3-year contracts. And
Mhm.
then, they'll have like termination fees. And so they take advantage of that. And like you were saying, I talked to so many practices who are like, oh, I'm paying X. And, they were paying X the first month that they signed up. And then they didn't look at it, like you said. And then 6 months later, 8 months later, the processor started like nudging it up, nudging it up, nudging it up. And to the point where when you look at what their rates are, you know, 2 years from when they signed up, it's like almost 180 degrees difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, please, you guys out there, please make sure you stay on your credit card processing. Look at those month-end statements. Look at what is being nudged up because they'll just slip it in a little statement message. They're not forthcoming about it. I promise you, they're
Mhm.
not like shooting you multiple emails or calling you and be like, "Hey, we're going to increase your rate." No, 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 no. They're going to slip it under the table and hope that you never pay attention to it, which is really what happens because you guys are all busy. You guys are all doing amazing care on patients, and you're not paying attention to that. That's the
Mhm.
reality.
And it's creepy to me because it's also done on things that don't make sense. Like I feel like reading a credit card statement with what they're charging is like reading very highly processed foods. And I'm like, I have no clue what 90% of these words are. And I feel
That's
like
a
it's the
good
same thing
comparison. I
when you
like
come
that.
to a credit card statement. And so back to this practice, what we did, there's two case studies I wanted to bring to the table today that are my own personal clients that I've referred over to Moolah, that have like signed up with Moolah. So this practice, again, overhead, let's outproduce our problems. And it was wild because the first month they switched to Moolah, their CPA sent a letter to all of us and said, like, hey, what'd you do? Did you switch credit card companies? Your fees are so much lower. Like that fast
Nice.
first month dropped down. So we went from about a 10% fee on what they're producing and collecting to then dropping it down to this 2.89 to 2.39 penny upon if card was present or not, which is super awesome also because then you can get cards on auto renew, like on just processing internally,
Yeah.
and you don't have to like you can have cards present or not present within the practice, which is so awesome. But I was shocked, like that fast. And then another practice that we brought to Moolah, they were locked in with another credit card company. And so I didn't know you couldn't do this, Mark. So this was like rookie mistake on me. Like I'm scrappy. And I thought, well, okay, fine. You guys are in a contract. So just stop processing through that processor, switch everything over to Moolah. Well, you know this, Mark, and I was rookie. So you know what happens. Do you know what happens with those
No,
companies?
I mean, I listen. I said that a lot too because technically, really, if the practice is in a contract, and I've said that before, I'm like, you probably have like these miscellaneous junk fees, these monthly minimums that are going to hit maybe $20, $30 a month. But even if you're paying that minimum and you saved, thousands over here, who cares? Like, pay that minimum, just ride that contract out. What happened here in this
That
scenario?
was exactly what I said too.
Okay,
So that's what, because I was like, why not? I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, okay, if we're looking at you're able to save 3%, 4%, like
yeah,
higher amounts, and we're processing, even if you're processing 100,000 or 200,000, like that extra 2, 3%, do the math, like that's surely going to offset the cost. Well, what
yeah,
happened is we actually did that. So a client signed up with you guys. They did that. And we got a letter from the other processor saying, that, hey, we have a minimum. And if we don't hit it, it was going to be substantial. And to get out of contract, it was going to cost us $1,000. So we literally said, fine, take the $1,000 because we had already saved that much through Moolah savings to be able to, like, we were just like it's a done deal. Like they were trying to threaten them with this $1,000 fee, but we were like, that's so minimal to get us out of
right,
this contract based
right.
on how much we were saving. Now, this practice was processing a decent chunk, but I think even if you're processing like 70,000, 80,000, that 1, 2% stacks up. Like it's
Oh yeah,
insane how much we pay in credit card fees. So those were like the two that I wanted to bring today. Like I said, this
I
is why I
love
have a
that.
crush because I hate credit card fees so much. And that's going to lead into our next topic. But Mark, anything you want to add? Because these were two cases that I've watched since we last met. I'm constantly on the prowl for cheaper people. I love that you guys don't charge for the terminals. You have it set up the next day. There's no contracts. Like that's where I said, like, it's your new favorite, like credit card processing. You don't increase the fees. You give our clients reduced rates. If you have multi locations, you guys also take care of those practices. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing what you guys do. So that's my like pitch for Moolah.
I
But
love
hey, if
that.
you want to
I
add
wanted to
anything else,
because you
I'm
just
here
you
for it.
just you just you just like rang a memory. So what you were referring to in that practice, right? Where like, okay, you can't just skate by and just pay the minimum, right? Or they were going to hit him with his fee. Well, another thing I'm going to tell your listeners out there is, listen, if you don't go with Moolah, um, great, do your homework. But one thing to look at that I've seen in contracts, which is crazy, is that sometimes you'll see a contract, all right, if you cancel early, it's like a 350 termination fee. Okay, fine. But I've seen others out there where the processor says they try to enforce liquidated damages. So the processor will say, oh, we've been making, you're in a 3 year contract. On average, we're making like whatever, $500 a month on your processing. If you leave us now, it's not an early termination fee. We're going to calculate that $500 for the remaining 16, 17 months. And they hit you with this liquidated damages thing. Crazy. So just be on the lookout for that. If you're doing anywhere that's a contract, look out for liquidated damages. That's no bueno. But better yet, find somebody that's just not going to put you in a contract.
Yeah.
Much easier.
And also, like, okay, Mark, help me understand. And maybe you don't know because you guys don't do this and that's okay. But to me, it feels really funny that I signed a contract with them and there's got to be something in the fine print because I'm like, how did they go from what they told me to being able to add all these extra surcharges later on and increase it
For
when
sure,
we're
it's
in
in the fine
contract?
print. Yeah. Yeah, it basically says that at any time, at our discretion, with 30 days notice, we can make an adjustment to any of your fee schedule. And so
Well,
they'll just do that.
so
And then they'll just put a little message, really small font in whatever kind of notification. And, in their minds, are like, all right, well, we checked off the box. It's super shady. It sucks, but
yeah.
it's out there.
It is what it is. And I would
Yeah,
say though, like look at it because two clients that were in contract, we were able to send over every person that I've sent to you guys have just loved who you are, that it's easy, that it's fast, that it's the cheapest processing. And there's a few other features that I think we should talk about. Like I feel like I'm on like a Moolah sales pitch right now. Like I'm truly not. I just get giddy. Like if you guys hear me talk about Swell with Zeke and Google reviews, like I have a crush on Swell. Like they just do Google reviews better than anyone else. And right now, Moolah for sure, you guys are taking the cake on being able to do credit card processing better than any other company that I've come across, which I think is amazing. And so something else that I think is ratcheting fees on practices when we're looking for some of these cash flow leaks is on membership plans. Now, I'm a huge proponent of membership plans. I also think with the economy, with where insurance is reimbursing, people are starting to look at like, hey, should we be going out of network? And my
for
big
sure.
proposal is, hey, yeah, of course, if you want to do that, rock on. Membership plans really can help with that. But there are some membership companies that actually charge pretty outlandish fees. I never wanted to pay for that. I was scrappy in a practice. So what I did is I just charged the patient an annual fee. Well, that was like 8 years ago that I was charging an annual fee. And I think you look at today's world, no one wants an annual fee anymore. They just want like
Right,
a monthly fee and they want it to be
right.
low. But managing that is nonsense on my own. Paying for it and Moolah, like I've heard through the grapevine, you guys are doing something with membership fees. Like, can we talk about the membership plans?
Yeah,
Talk
yeah,
about how you
absolutely.
guys do this. Is it easier? Is it something we can do? Because I think membership plans have to come into play with the insurance situation that offices are in, as and also possibly a like cash leak if you're paying for like heavy management fees on your membership plans.
Yeah. So listen, membership discount plans. I've only been in the industry, dental industry for about 4 years now. And every year I feel like it's gaining traction. More practices are asking about us. I have practices that are doing demos with us and they're like, hey, I'm doing this demo, is driving it because I heard you guys do, membership discount plan management. And so, yes, the answer is we do. Um, and as you were alluding to, there's a lot of great vendors in the space that just do that, right? And I'm not going to
Mhm.
name any names, but there's a lot of great vendors, but they're not inexpensive. Like, there's some decent SaaS fees, and then you pay per patient enrollment.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the net, you're like, okay, is this really making sense? So what's nice is that we have complete membership discount plan management built into the platform. You can create all your plans. You can easily onboard the patient into the system. Whether the patient wants to go, monthly or annual. And like you said, you were doing it annual, and a lot of the practices that I run into have historically been doing it annually, right? Because to think about billing it on a monthly basis has you like pulling your hair out. But
Too
the
hard.
reality is that the patients and the consumers in the world that we live in, everybody looks at whatever they're going to bring into their life, whether it's a Netflix subscription or it's a car payment or it's anything else. Everybody kind of looks at it on a monthly basis. And so that is what you want to be delivering. And so with the Moolah platform, you can absolutely manage an in-house membership discount plan and offer both annual and monthly options and truly set it and forget it, not have to think about it. The system's going to run. The system's going to automatically post that payment into the ledger. In Open Dental, we even go a step further, where when you enroll the patient into the membership, not only are we handling the billing element of it, but we're also going into the PMS and we're associating that patient to that membership discount plan and keeping track. That's what's really doing all the heavy
Mhm.
lifting of keeping track of whatever the one free cleaning, the 10% off services, and we keep that in lockstep. So if there's like a billing issue, we automatically disassociate the patient from the plan. So really just kind of make it pain free. And, membership discount plans are phenomenal. It's a win-win for patients and practice. First of
Mhm.
all, it brings some really great reoccurring, like trackable revenue into the practice, right? Number two, it's bringing patients like butts in seats as well. Because the patient looks like, hey, I'm paying $40 a month. I should use it. I should be in there. And it's bringing value to the patient. So it's literally just a win-win all around. I really love that for, when you're looking at out of network patients. And the platform has it built in. So you guys, please, if you're looking at discount plans, memberships, I encourage you to look at some of the other great vendors out there, and then come take a look at us last and see like the value that you get that's included.
That's awesome. Yeah. And again, like there are so many great people out there that are doing it. I just feel when I heard that you guys were doing membership plans, I was like, well, it kind of makes sense because you're already processing credit cards. Like you're already doing the processing. So now
Right.
something else that is doing a processing is in my processor into my software, which I just thought was so incredibly clever. And like again, I had another client who scoped you against other companies and they were like, gosh, like there's no fees compared to other companies with Moolah. So that was something I was really excited about. I'm big on just, it's like my insurance. I've been with State Farm forever. And Jason and I giggle, we're like, we need to go and actually like assess and make sure that we're truly getting the best plans. And so I just think like it's good to periodically go and assess and make sure our card fees, what they were when we set it up, are membership plans making sense? Is it time to look to possibly renegotiate some certain things? And again, I'm not here to propose one company over another. Like Mark said, do your homework, figure out what's best because there's so many great companies out there. I just really love when it's simple and easy. And that's something I love about you guys, Mark, is you guys have the fact that we can send patient statements and like have payments online and they can pay at all times of the day. Like just that alone boosts offices collections with Moolah. So Mark, I want to go into a dicey topic with you though, because this one's
Let's do
hot.
it.
We had it in our in-person doctor and leadership mastermind when we were in Arizona, and I loved it. It was like a hot topic. And heads up, like this might be awkward for you. I don't think it will because of who you are. But there's the question of, and it was hot. Like the room was split of people
I
who were
know. I
pro
want to
and
hear
con.
like what the feedback was because I know where you're going.
So the question is, with credit card fees being as much as they were, we talked about at the beginning, like ways that we can reduce it. Then we talked about reducing membership plans. Now there's a question of, should we actually charge patients the credit card fees? Like this is becoming really popular and I don't blame businesses because inflation's high, labor is higher. So now we're trying to figure out like, where could we cut? And so people are like, well, sweet, we're just going to pass on the credit card fees to our patients. And the room was spicy. There was like people that were so pro and people that like literally people were bristly and it
Yeah.
was quite interesting. So you're a credit card company, which is where I feel like it's a little awkward to ask you this question, but I want to know, are we
Yeah.
pro? Are we con? Should we charge the patients from your perspective? We're in 2025. So many companies do this. Should people be charging patients the credit card fee? Should they just raise their fees and bake it in? Like, what are your thoughts on this? Because
Okay.
my room was
Okay.
50-50 split. And I will tell you some of the feedback if you want to hear it because it was
I
quite
do. Okay. So the
interesting.
first thing I want to point out is I expect you to say that the room is split, right? Like half of them were
Mhm.
like, yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm not paying for my patients' reward points. And I think the other half of the room was like, yeah, but I'm worried about the optics. Does it look like we're trying to be cheesy or nickel and diming our patients, right? Those are the
Mhm.
two ends that are battling each other. The interesting thing is that this hot topic, if you would have asked that just 3 years ago, it
Mhm.
wouldn't have been 50-50.
No,
It would have been like 80-90% saying no way and 10%
agreed.
maybe do it. So the
100%
trend
agree.
is like it is going, right? And 2 or 3 years from now, I have a feeling it's going to be like 80% are doing it and 20% are not doing it. So
I would
the
agree with
cat is
you.
out of the bag. Let's just get that, right out there in the open. What do I think about it? I'm going to be super Switzerland about this, and I'm going to say that I
Remember,
think
he's a credit card processing company. So.
well, no, I'm going to say that I think that as a vendor who delivers credit card processing service, I think that I should enable our practices to make that choice for themselves. I think whatever you think you should do for your practice, I want to support it. So if you don't want to do surcharging, great. We love that. If you do want to do surcharging, great. I love that. I just want to give the tools to the practice so they can make that decision. Now, aside what I think about it, it's a very interesting topic to talk about. Well, what is the net result of like, all right, how does it work? What does it save? Let's get into it, if I
I
may.
agree.
Okay.
Because,
So
like,
there's a
are there
couple
rules around
ways.
it? Like, do you
There
actually have to
is
do? No,
absolutely.
okay.
There is, and there's a couple
I have no
flavors to this.
idea. Okay.
There's a couple flavors to this. Um, there, the what that we do. Let me talk about that first. So what we do is what's referred to as compliant surcharging. And with compliant surcharging, what you're doing is that when a customer is paying you with a credit card, the system, our system, I'll just speak to our system. I'm sure most others are similar, but when a patient is paying you, whether it's in practice on the device or whether you send a text to pay or it's an online payment, our system automatically real time looks at the number that the patient put in or used on the terminal. And within like a half a second, we're looking back at the credit card network before we even charge it. And we say, oh, is this a credit or is this a debit? If the patient is paying with a credit card, we then pop on the screen, either on their mobile device or on the terminal. We say, hey, we see you're using a credit card. We're going to add 2.99% as a fee to you for using a credit card. If you want to use a debit card, you will avoid that fee. So in compliance surcharging, what I really like about that is that you're not charging a fee across debit and credit, right? You're still giving your patient the convenience of being able to pay with plastic and still use a debit card, because the reality is if you have a credit card in your wallet, there's a probably 99% chance you've got a Visa debit card in your wallet as well. And so you're not pulling away that convenience of them being able to pay plastic and just saying, hey, if you want to avoid that fee, pay cash or check. That's kind of archaic. So with compliance surcharging, you are going to offload your credit card fees to the patient, only the credit card fees. When they pay with a debit card, you will still pay for that. Okay. Now, with doing that with Moolah, if you're going to pay the debit fee and not pay the credit card fee, we see that the overall net effective rate for the practice ends up being below 1%. It ends up being like, I'm going to throw out a weird term that people are going, what the heck is that? It's usually going to be around 75 or 80 basis points. About 3/4 of 1% is going to be your net overall cost, which is huge savings.
Crazy.
Right?
Like, insane.
Huge savings.
Let's do some math. If you did $1 million and you were able to basically save, gosh.
Let's just say the reality is you're probably saving 1.5%. So on $1 million practice, that practice is going to put about $15,000 back to their bottom line. Like, and that's it. And it was painless.
And that's also,
and you're still not really
collecting. Like, this is already money we're collecting. We just get to keep more of it rather than having the credit card processing fee.
And it doesn't need to break brain cells for you to try and figure it out. Like, the system's going to automatically calculate it. We're going to organize it. It's painless. We're handling it in the PMS correctly. So listen, the savings cannot be ignored. Like we talked about, the cat's out of the bag. You're going to see more businesses across more different verticals. And the reality is we've all been around it for a long, long time, right? Who's been doing it forever? Gas stations, right? We've seen it on there. Cash credit, right? That's been there forever, and we're all used to it. And you also typically see a lot when you're dealing with like state or federal agencies. If you've ever gone on and make an online tax payment, they usually charge a fee there. So it's just now getting more,
nail salons for the girls out there. We all know the nail salons. They'll say like it's a 3% charge if you use credit card. I'm like, here's your cash. Like it's clever. They push us what they want.
So it is. Listen. So I believe in delivering the technology to our clients. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. Whatever you feel is good. I will tell you though that I think a lot of practices, especially on the one half of the room that are like against it, I think what we're finding is that people are not pushing back as much as you think they are, because consumers are just getting used to it. And again, the fact that, at least with our practices, you're still giving your patient the ability to have that convenience and pay with a debit card and not have the fee. If they were doing like the model where they call it, cash discount, where you're going to hit the debit card and you're going to hit the credit card, I think you get more pushback on that. But you're still giving that convenience. So yeah, I'm a fan of it. We get, like I said, more and more requests of it. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, we're here to support your practices. If you guys want to try it out, try it out. And listen,
how does it work in practice though? Like, so someone's standing in front of me at a terminal. I'm collecting money in person. How does this work? Because it's not going to pop up on my like treatment plan that I just gave them or on my ledger. So how do I do
pop up on the terminal? And so first thing we do, we give the practices, some template messaging, and they'll just want to put up something by the front desk, and it says something to the effect of that, this office adds a surcharge when using a credit card, not beyond, what our costs are, right? This is not additional money revenue of trying to make arbitrage between cost and no. They're only going to pass off. And so the patient is aware of it. They've seen it. And then when they go to use it on the terminal, if they're in practice, When they go to run the credit card, it will pop up on the screen, and your team can just show it to the patient. They'll see it, that it's adding it because they're using a credit card, and it'll give them an option if they want to accept it or if they want to back out of it and try again with a debit card and avoid the fee. Really easy.
Okay, that's actually really helpful. And now I have a question because I don't know this. How does this work? Because technically the practice is collecting more money, right? Like we are taking the fee plus the credit card
Let's
fee.
say it's $100, and let's just say
Uh-huh.
we're adding that surcharge, so now it's $103.
Right. So
Okay.
that's $3 more per
Yeah.
$100 transaction.
Yeah.
But does that impact them in tax? I would think no, because credit card companies still charging us the 3%. Like, how does this work? Are you following what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I do. So
how does this impact?
you don't have anything else to break your brain on that. Our system, first of all, will break out the surcharge in the reporting. Okay. So it's really clean. Furthermore, the addition, the $103, right? Like the customer got charged, the patient got charged $103. But our system automatically calculates it that you have a fee of 3% and that you surcharge the patient 3%. So the practice is still just going to get the full $100. It's as if they took a cash payment. So it's easy for them. They're not getting 1099 at the $103, so to speak. It's just still truly only taking $100, which is
Yeah, because
great.
that's what I was curious. Like, and like some things have sales tax. So I didn't know like surcharges, do they get taxed differently or is it just like accepting cash? Same thing for a practice.
Exactly.
Cool.
Total amount.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
so that's really helpful. And that helps me see on the ledger. So are you guys synced into the PMS for it to say, because like if my ledger says $100, but I'm now
Yes.
doing 3% surcharge on it, I'm going to be posting $103. How do I make sure that all of my ledgers match up?
We'll post $100 in the ledger, okay, and then we'll have a separate procedure code for the surcharge, and then we'll also have an offsetting so that it doesn't mess up your balance. So you can easily run reports based on the procedure code. I can see what my surcharge is, but it's not messing up and showing that, hey, I took in $103 on this $100 transaction. So your ledger is going to stay nice and clean and not be a nightmare, 100%.
Because I was like, oh, great. Because there was another office that I heard about. And Mark, I'm just curious about your opinion on this. And then we're going to get back to this like spicy. And thanks for walking through this. There was another practice. I've literally never heard of this before. So I'm curious if you have or if you recommend it or don't. This practice. So let's say a patient, the total is $100. They pay the $100. The practice literally posted on the ledger, instead of being $100, because now they lost $3, they posted $97 on the ledger and they were taking out the surcharge. Have you ever heard of that? Because I had never heard it. Do you recommend that? Because I've never
That seems
recommended
wonky.
right? And I think as a patient, I'd feel really angry that like, no, I gave you $100, but you gave me 97.
Right.
Like, I was
or continue that on. How about now, all of a sudden, a week later, you go to refund it, and we're like, "Oh, we're refunding you 97." You're like, "No, I paid you 100."
Right. I was.
It's going to be messed up in so many levels.
I was like, I mean, maybe I'm archaic on how I do this. I used to just do it that way and then accept that would just be a cost on my P&L. But now there's a way for you to actually offset it with the process. So my question is, going back to that, that's actually helpful. Thank you. So if you're doing that, definitely recommend not doing that anymore. But I was like, hey, I've never heard of this. Maybe that is the right way to do the accounting on it, but it felt very messy to me. Now, do we as the practice need to put in the surcharge as that procedure code when we're charging that out? Or does Moolah automatically sync it in and put the surcharge of the procedure code?
Yeah, automatically done. There's nothing for you to need to do.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
This is why I said.
So during onboarding, we will work with the practice. Obviously, we'll make sure that we have a procedure code set up for them. And so during the onboarding, we'll have that so that when you do run a surcharge transaction like that, there's nothing you need to do. It'll all be handled in the ledger correctly.
And you're in all softwares. What softwares does Moolah sync into?
Yes. So Open Dental, Dentrix, G7, and newer server-based, not Ascend. And we're actually going to be releasing, finally, this has been a long time coming, we're finally going live with EagleSoft beta at the end of next week. So awesome. Open Dental, Dentrix, and EagleSoft.
That's awesome. Okay, very cool. And then if you're not in one of those, then you can just obviously add this in. It wouldn't be automatically synced. And I think like of those ones, though, huge win this way. Okay, now we'll go back to the spicy. I will tell you guys how the room was divided. The room was divided
Yes.
of, you're right, the do it, don't do it, and then the like, hey, there's a middle ground, which I thought the middle ground was kind of convenient.
Was there any
As
physical
they,
fighting going on?
there wasn't, but I did see people
Okay.
like it. I did feel like it was like politics and religion status. Like it was like very
Right.
cut through the room.
Right.
I
Right.
do
Right.
agree with you. And that's what I said. I was like, you guys, it's 2025. This is going
Yeah.
to take place in the future and it will be very common. It just, I think our early adopters going to stay or not. It's your choice. I've always been of the opinion like, no, just bake it into your fee. And now I'm like, well, everybody's starting to charge for it. Like, why not? So it was don't charge for it now. Another was like, no, put it in. People are doing it anyway. And the middle ground, which I thought was kind of a good way to do it, is in person, they didn't charge a fee, but any of their online statements, they did charge a fee because they said most people who pay online know there's usually a service fee associated with it. So I thought that
Yeah.
was kind of an easy way if you guys are looking for a navigation through it. But I think like honestly, it's just like anything else. Train your patience if you want to, but don't feel like you have to. I think it'd just be something to consider. So, but again, like get the reduction, like if nothing else, like switch to a processor that's going to be reduced fees anyway. So even if you want to continue offering it, you're still saving on that. Mark, I have one last thing that I wanted to dive into. I'm hearing from a lot of like integrated softwares. So like Dental Intel and Flex and some of these other ones that literally make practice lives easier.
Yeah.
That they're having processors in there that are just integrated right into that. They're using it all the time. How does Moolah play in those worlds? Like, do you get the same pricing? Do we not get the same pricing? Are some of those better because they're already bundled in? Again, I'm putting you on like really awkward topics, but I
No,
just
no, not at
want to
all.
know,
So
like,
listen, you
how
mentioned
does this
Flex.
work?
We love Flex. Okay. I love Flex, not just because yes, they're a partner of ours, right? And yes, your Moolah account is works beautifully and integrated with Flex. But I love Flex just because I think they're like cut from the same cloth that we are. Like we just, at the end of the day, we want to over deliver, right? We want to over deliver, whether it's technology, whether it's value, and they have that mindset. And so I love the Flex team, full disclosure. And so we've been an integrated partner with Flex for, gosh, now I think 3 years. So yeah, I think they deliver a ton of value to any open dental practice. So anybody out there
Mhm.
for sure should check out Flex. They are
Yeah.
amazing. Dental Intel. So we used to be, not to bore the audience, but like we used to have an integration with Modento, and then Dental Intel acquired Modento,
Yep.
and then Dental Intel wanted to roll out their own integrated credit card processing, and so they have now. And so, listen, we wish Dental Intel the best, wish them well, but yeah, we're no longer integrated with Dental Intel. But yeah, Flex, we love Flex.
Okay. Because I was just curious. Now, oh, I feel if it's bundled, is this a time where offices should just be strategic? I'm not saying anyone's doing it. I haven't looked at it, so I'm not here to like cast judge, or I just want to make sure offices are being smart. I would think when they're bundled or they're integrated, offices
Mm-hmm.
should still check, even using Moolah, they should still be
Yeah,
watching their credit card statements every single month, right? Like
a hundred
no matter
percent.
what, just to always make sure things are staying clean. And also before we sign up with anybody, like literally read the fine print and look for it. Yes, no, like I,
Yeah,
and
and
like
I would
let's just
also
roll all the way
say
back.
like, yeah, and I would always say that, let's just take the Flex example. Like Flex has, and I won't name anything. I'll let you guys out there, you go check it out, see it yourself. But there are three options. I encourage you, especially when we're talking about a vendor that you're looking at, and especially when this vendor that you're looking at revolves around your cash flow, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
a pretty integral part of a vendor that you're bringing into your ecosystem. Like call them, talk to them, like call in the middle of the day. Do they pick up the phone? Do they answer? Can you talk to somebody very easily? Like really pop the hood and take a look at who you're going to get in and do business with, especially when it's, that vendor is like controlling your cash flow on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
yes, please, you guys out there, do your homework, look at the agreements, ask questions, and see what's right for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, I wanted to like go into it because these are things I'm hearing. I'm hearing people say like, but this seamlessly integrates. I know you seamlessly integrate. I know you guys are constantly working to refine, to get into more and more practice management softwares to make it easier. Just Mark, as we wrap up, like this has been fun. I love the like, thanks
Always
for going
is.
into some of the spices with me. But just as a quick rundown, like what are some of the features that Moolah does? We talked about the membership plans. We did talk
Yep.
about the dental team clients get 10% basis points less for card present or card not present, which to me,
Yep.
that alone, I would just look into it and see. Like I said, two clients literally saved money by like dumping their contracts and moving over, which I think to me, I like before I can have a crush on a company, I test them pretty heavily. So to see the proof in the pudding, I was so just elated and it made me even like you guys more. But what else
Oh, I
does
love that.
Moolah do? Because I know you guys do a lot of
So
other things that
yeah,
just make
yeah.
life easier.
So at the end of the day, we do a lot, but it's all payment related and will always be payment related, right? So we're focused on being like, we try to be like the end all be all payment solution for dentists. And so when you look at like what does a dental office need from a payment perspective, it's in practice payments, right? So we provide you guys the physical devices. So no more having to buy, rent, or lease those terminals. We're going to include them. And,
They're awesome
not
too. They're
only,
portable. They can go back to
yeah,
the
they're wireless. Yeah, they're
hygienist.
really cool.
It's amazing.
Aesthetically,
Senior
they look really
hygienists can
good.
take it. Like they're awesome.
Yeah.
It's so great.
And here's the other great part too that I think it's kind of underrated. Is not, of course not only did we include them so the practice didn't need to buy them, but like normally, with our peers, you have to buy these devices and then you buy them and then it's like 1 year warranty, right? And then like Murphy's Law always kicks in, like it loves to do, and like okay, month 14, the device just went out on you, and then you got to buy another $500-$600 device. With Moolah, you guys will literally never have a hardware expense ever because we give them to you on the front end and we will warranty them forever as long as you're with us. I don't care, 4, 5, 6 years. If there's new devices that come out and your guys age out, we're going to replace them. Even if you drop it off the counter and crack the screen, we don't care. We're going to replace it for you. There's no fear or premium. So, in practice payments, we have you covered there, from a technology standpoint as well as a hardware standpoint. Um, Moving on, we have the ability to, like you were talking about earlier, store patient cards securely, tokenized. Nothing's ever touching the practice's servers. It's all on our servers, but it's giving you the convenience of having those stored cards for the patient. You can have as many stored cards as you want. You can even send a request to the patient before their appointment, and the patient easily from home, from their mobile device, could add their credit card. And so when they come in, it's already stored and it's available to use. So stored
With
cards,
that, can I ask,
yeah,
like, do you guys
yeah,
have
yeah.
the like compliance paperwork? Like, is there anything you have to do to get a patient to have a stored credit card that we can run for future payments? So, like, once insurance pays, because I know that's a big thing of storing cards on file. Do you have
Yep.
anything with that, or because I know that
What
this
I
is a zone?
Yeah, no. So it's very obvious as far as the process of the patient adding the card. Like when you send the message, it says, "Hey, would you like to securely store your card on file?" Right?
Hmm.
Beyond that, what I've seen some practices do is they'll just include it in their overall like new patient intake forms and kind of include it in their terms of service.
Yeah.
Of that, hey, listen, if you want to store a card on file with us, you can, and you allow once you store a card, you're giving us the authorization to utilize that card for other future balances. As simple
But
as that.
just
That's
so
all you need to
smart, you
do.
guys. Think about it. This is where so many other industries do this. They have a card on file. I mean, I go to the spa, my card's on file. They run that card when I'm gone. Like I authorize it to happen. So they never are out of money. They're never chasing money down. Like it just to me makes so much more sense
Can
of
you
a
imagine
process.
like if Netflix or all the other subscriptions, if they had to like wait for a payment every month and wait, like
No,
come on, no. Like
no.
subscription is the way, 100%.
Yeah.
So okay, so store card on file they get. The other thing they get is the ability to create and manage in-house payment plans. And of course automatically post those payments to the ledger. We have some great things where if the payment fails, right? Like they're into the plan for 3 months and all of a sudden the July payment fails, our system will automatically notify the practice, notify the patient. And what's cool is that the software will allow the patient to self-administer and fix it. So the software is not telling the patient, hey, your card failed, call the front desk. No, we're going to save a phone call there. The software will allow the patient to tell the software, okay, either A, try to charge that card again, or B, they can actually upload a new card on file.
So
So the cool stat on that is that in failed transactions in our payment plans, we see patients solving it between themselves and software within the first 24 hours at a rate of over 80%, which
Holy
is
cow.
huge.
It's amazing.
So payment plans, and then we talked about earlier, you also get the ability to manage any of your in-house membership or discount plans. We have the collecting on a balance when the patient is out of practice, sending a payment request, either allocated or unallocated payment request, can attach a statement. We also have the ability to host a payment page on their website. So if you want to put a little navigation, click here to make an online after hours payment. We'll host that page for the practice. So yeah, we really kind of just looked at it a full circle of like, where are all the payment touch points that a practice is dealing with, and just trying to deliver these really amazing tools. And again, as you know, our model, there's never any monthly fees. There's never any setup fees. There's never any annual fees. All there are is these two simple flat rates. And again, you can cancel it anytime you want. You're never locked into anything.
That's awesome. Mark, I appreciate this so much. How do people, like, I know they just connect with you, schedule a demo. You guys will look at their credit card processing, see how you guys can fix it. How do they connect with you specifically if they're interested? And specifically with the Dental Aid team, perks.
Yeah, I would recommend, and maybe we can list this in the podcast, but there will be a specific Moolah URL. It's like / the Dental Aid team. They should go there, and then they can schedule a demo. And then if they go there, then we're going to know it came from you guys. That way we can get them that 10 basis point savings forever. So just schedule a demo with us, and no pressure. Like we're like the least salesy organization I think that you guys will ever run into. All we want to do is inform you. We want to show you what we have. We're not for everybody. But assuming that you guys love what you see, we encourage you to try us out and check us out and see if we're going to be a great fit for your practice.
Yeah, for sure. You guys, honestly, I love Moolah. They're incredible. So on our website, we will link it. So the way you get to Moolah, it's on our website, thedentaladteam.com. And then you can click on the About Partnerships. Moolah is right there. And the actual, like, if you guys want our direct link here, it would be thedentaladteam.com/partnerships/Moolah. And that should take you right to Moolah's page. It's also moolah.cc/partners/the Dental Aid team. So if that helps you guys, we'll also link that in the show notes. Mark, I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for being on the podcast. Thanks for going through the spicy with me. I appreciate you so much.
Anytime, Kira. Love you guys. You guys are the best. And have a great rest of your day.
Hey, you too. And for all of you listening, thanks for listening. And we'll catch you next time on the Dental Aid Team podcast.